Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5.
New at 5, Eugene 4J School District announces schools will be a hybrid of online and on-site learning for the next school year. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Mazer. Now, the announcement comes as the school year begins in about 2 months. Interim Superintendent Cindy Vanderkar outlined the district's reopening plans today. NBC 16's Angelina Dixon joins us live in the studio now to break down those plans. Angelina.
That's right, Jacqueline. School will be looking a lot different for students this year. Here is what parents can expect. For the first 4 weeks, the school year will start with online learning starting September 14th. There will be also some on-site learning for students in kindergarten and first grade. This would start in September if public health allows it. Now, once the school district hits the 5th week, that's when we could see students alternate week by week. Once students in Group A will learn on site, while Group B learns at home. Then the following week, the groups will switch. Again, this is if public health conditions make it possible. Now, there is another option for parents, that is the Eugene Online Academy, which is completely online. Students would complete all their work at home with a teach by phone, video, or maybe in person. It's specifically designed online curriculum taught by 4J teachers, except certain middle and high school classes. And students stay enrolled in their current school. A form must be complete by August 10th. For more information on what options parents have, make sure to visit the Eugene 4J School District website. That is 4j.lane.edu. And Bethel School District has also released reopening plans in a presentation. The district online plans for things like classes, transportation, and meals. For classes, the district is considering 2 options. Both include students learning on campus for 2 days and online for 3. The difference is either Wednesday or Friday being used to sanitize campus facilities. For transportation, buses would only have 1 student in each seat of the bus. Students will also be screened before boarding. A health staffer will meet with students if they feel ill. When it comes to meals, students will have alternative meals locations to ensure distancing with staggering times based on their group and surface clean. The school district is still looking at off-campus privileges for high schoolers are still under consideration. As for next steps, a draft will be completed by July 22nd. There will also be a survey for families. The district will send their plan to Oregon Department of Education by August 15th. You could view Bethel's full presentation on our website, NBC16.com. For now, back to you, Jacqueline, with school reopening plans that Roseburg has. Jacqueline?
All right, thank you so much. So much information, Angelina. Appreciate it. So taking a look now for the plan for Roseburg Public Schools. School leaders released a draft for their opening plan this week. NBC 16's David Ochoa has the details.
The first draft of the Roseburg Public Schools plan for the start of the school year shows a mix of on-site and distance learning. K-5 students will be in the classroom, while secondary students will be a hybrid of both.
Our secondary schools are much larger than our elementary schools, so there wasn't a feasible plan for bringing them in every day and to follow the recommended guidelines of cohorting, physical distancing.
Nee says the district surveyed families, students, and staff. She says the response from families was in favor of returning to the classroom.
Over 80% of them were either comfortable or very comfortable with coming back to school. Many of them were ready for their students to have that support and that routine and to get back into the buildings.
Although some want to return to school, it's all about safety. The district says a wide array of safety precautions will be made. Nee says face masks will be required for staff. They'll be recommended for 6th through 12th grade students, but not for K-5, according to the current Oregon Department of Education guidelines.
We know everyone's anxious to return to school as normal, but we also have to be extremely cautious to ensure the safety of our students and staff and community, but we can't ensure that everyone's going to be safe at this point.
State officials are expected to release more guidance later this month and in August. Nee says the district will tweak its plan as more guidance comes out. Reporting in Roseburg, I'm David Ochoa.
All right, thanks for that report, David. Now, meanwhile, the CDC is waiting to release new documents on safely reopening schools. The CDC was supposed to release more reference documents by the end of the week, but the information just isn't ready yet. The new information will focus on how to reopen schools safely this fall. This after President Trump complained about the CDC's current guidance. The information will likely be available by the end of the month. And of course, as we get closer to the new school year, NBC 16 is on your side. We'll keep track of how local districts plan to reopen. You can find all the details on our website. That's NBC16.com. All right, well, now to a live look at the U.S. Capitol this evening, where next week negotiations will begin on another round of economic relief. This comes as the U.S. breaks another record. More than 75,000 new daily coronavirus cases were reported nationwide yesterday, and dozens of states are seeing not only an increase in cases, but also hospitalizations and deaths. Infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci says vaccine trials, though, are progressing.
One of the candidates will be going into an advanced phase 3 trial by the end of this month, by the end of July. And other candidates will be entering advanced clinical trials as we get into the midsummer, late summer, and early fall.
Dr. Fauci says instead of focusing on a second wave, the country needs to narrow in on the surge of coronavirus cases right now. Now, taking a look at coronavirus numbers statewide, the Oregon Health Authority reports 307 new confirmed and presumptive cases and 5 new deaths. The state has now seen more than 13,800 cases and 254 deaths. Well, a one-block section of Broadway Street is closed off in downtown Eugene. It's part of a new experiment this summer. NBC 16's Tom Adams joins us live along Broadway tonight to talk about a new program to boost business and community recovery. Tom.
Yeah, hi, Jacqueline. We're live on Broadway Street, downtown Eugene, right in between Willamette and Olive Street. And right behind me is a scene at Party Downtown, one of the participating businesses in the brand new program that's called Broadway Streetery. Downtown Eugene program manager Eric Brown says the idea is closing off this one-block stretch of the street to motor traffic, and that way able cafe seating for area bars and restaurants. It's a temporary measure to support safe, physically distant business activity in response to the COVID-19 situation.
You know, be part of the recovery. Come out, frequent our local businesses, and be a part of the community recovery.
Yeah, that's what, when we were setting up our whole area yesterday, we're like, wow, this really reminds us of being in Spain.
Now, Brown tells me closing the street to motor vehicles allows businesses to expand their square footage into the right-of-way areas, and then they set up their tables along the sidewalks and parking spaces in the streets. A little bit later on, next half hour, we'll talk to another very enthusiastic business owner here on Broadway, Tom Camus over here at the Davis Restaurant. He'll tell us what he's going to do with his space this coming summer. Jacqueline, back to you.
All right, thanks, Tom. Yeah, very exciting. Parisian. I like it. Well, imagine losing your dog and then being tricked into thinking she was found. That's exactly what happened to one Cottage Grove family, and they're speaking out tonight to bring awareness to the community. Now, last week, Stephanie Green says she heard gunshots and then whimpering near her Cottage Grove home. Her dog has been missing ever since. Late Tuesday night, a man contacted her from a lost and found Craigslist ad she posted saying he found her dog. They went to a meeting site with a Eugene police officer just to be safe, but come to find out it was a setup. Their dog was not there, but what they did find is terrible. A kennel with fake blood next to it.
And then on our way home, we were just numb and in shock, and we had to go home, and there's our son who just graduated high school this year. You know, he's laying on the couch awake, waiting to see basically the dog come through the door.
Now, this isn't the first time something like this has happened in the area. It's actually the second incident just this week. Green wants people to be cautious about sharing their personal information when posting about missing pets. A Lakeside man died in a log truck crash near Loon Lake Road in Reedsport yesterday. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says the truck went over an embankment and submerged in Mill Creek. Deputies identified the driver as Rhett Michael Curran. Deputies say the investigation shows speed was a factor in the crash. Well, coming up next on NBC 16 at 5, 3 suspects in the death of Ahmaud Arbery appear in court, where the case stands now. Plus, while we continue to push forward in phase 2 of reopening, more cars are on the road, and it's affecting air quality.